I see the technology pilot the same as I would view program pilot. There are key tenets that need to exist in order for a pilot to be successful in any fashion. There's almost no excuse to have manual processes if there are tools to help optimize that outcome. I think it's going to really be a call to action for carriers and practitioners. It starts with the intention of what is my business objective?
Welcome to StitchStudio's Pilot to Production. In this series, we're interviewing insurance executives, investors, and consultants to hear real stories of how the industry is operationalizing AI in insurance. From carriers and brokerages to technology partners and investors, you'll gain practical insights, implementation strategies, and lessons learned from the leaders driving enterprise-scale adoption, moving from pilots to implementing responsible, predictable, and explainable AI. I'm Karan Mishra, CEO of StitchStudio, and this is Pilot to Production.
JoAnne, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, Nick.
Very good, very good. Why don't we start by you telling everybody a little bit about Sproutr and your career?
Sure. So Sproutr is a new company. We're a young company, 3 years old. Sproutr is a insurance program and product design and build firm. So I like to kind of talk about us like a non-career consulting firm. So Sproutr is comprised of industry veterans that have spent years of their professional careers owning P&L, building programs and products in the underwriting space, actuarial, filing and compliance. And so we really take a view of helping our clients work end to end through their problems or questions or building needs from the perspective of, as former owners of the outcomes of our decisions, we really do understand what is not just required to build insurance products and programs in a smart, scalable fashion, but how to actually build them credibly so you can actually generate an underwriting profit for the carrier, which is the point of this.
Absolutely. Very good. So you've spent a career helping MGUs and other types similar businesses develop products that work, right? Not just good ideas, but things, to your point, that are profitable. Now we're on this verge in this era of AI, right? And I'm curious, from your vantage point, what are some of the ways that you see that kind of technology improving the way we can design products?
I am so excited about the evolution of AI and technology in insurance, and frankly, the receptiveness of the technology into our practice. As an industry who has maybe earned the unfavorable reputation of being slow to adopt, I actually don't feel that right now. I feel really energized about the spectrum of insurance practitioners and the adoption. I think what's particularly interesting as it relates to program design and AI is what I'm hoping that comes out of this is the greater ability to contextualize information that historically has been siloed, or we've had to create technology bridges to piece the content together in order to inform an outcome. And so with the increasing ability of what we're seeing being generated with AI in particular, the ability for us to really be able to synthesize this information in ways that's usable quickly, affordably, is really exciting to me. One of the things I've been thinking about, certainly for my business as well as the clients that we serve, is this healthy respect that I'm seeing in the adoption of this technology, where there's trust, there's healthy respect, and that it's not a fail-proof method. It requires intentionality, careful consideration to build a credible outcome, and where the employee utilization of this, I think, is really going to become an interesting progress for us to watch here is not the over-reliance on the outcome. I think it's going to really be a call to action for carriers and practitioners to use critical thinking, the human critical thinking in the outcome, to really anticipate what is produced, if it's being relevant or credible to the outcome. So I think the demand for us as humans to still be very active participants in the outcome is something I expect to see happen. And I'm getting the sense that everyone so far that I've seen is approaching this new tooling for us in a similar way.
Yeah, that's great. So you get me thinking about this idea of human in the loop, right? That a lot of people get fearful that, well, is AI going to, make bad decisions and lead us astray in certain areas, and certainly things like underwriting and claims and certain parts of the business that's important. It sounds like you have a very optimistic view for how it can empower people. Maybe you could talk a little bit more about that around sort of how AI can practically improve decision logic. You mentioned a little bit around program design, but there's probably other areas that might come to mind.
I think so. I think right now the low-hanging fruit and the obvious ways that this can improve are just process and optimization of tasks or repetitive workflows, frankly, that do not need to exist in a manual fashion anymore. There's almost no excuse to have manual processes if there are tools to help optimize that outcome, which then allows us, of course, to focus on the things that humans do better. Um, yeah.
Absolutely. No, I couldn't agree more. One of the things that we see, unfortunately, across the market, and it's this idea that, a lot of teams, they might pilot something with AI or, any kind of new technology, and it never really sees the light of day. From your perspective, what are some of the keys to going from trying something and bringing technology into an improved support for human team, right? And actually bringing it to launch?
I see the technology pilot the same as I would view program pilot. In my mind, there are key tenets that need to exist in order for a pilot to be successful in any fashion. And I think when you are able to ground that pilot in a very well-defined criteria with very clear outcome requirements to help measure the success of a program or a pilot, if it's a technology integration or trial, is critical. I think really establishing the attributes in a very intentional way is what ultimately is going to help you establish whether the pilot is successful. Do you have that benchmark?
Yeah, that's great. That's great. So what advice do you have for people, whether it be your clients and people you work with across the industry, about this idea for a balance between innovation and execution, right? Because oftentimes we might strive for innovation, but end up kind of holding back just to do something that we think we can execute on. And oftentimes innovative things are executed well because they're new, right? So what's your take on some of the balance that needs to be brought there?
Personally, I feel very strongly about staying focused and executing on a focused goal, and really then leveraging the tools around you to help you execute. So this feels a little less of a cart before the horse scenario for me. This really feels like it starts with the intention of what is my business objective? Absent of all of the other things, all the noise around us, what am I trying to achieve? What's my so what? What's the end outcome I'm trying to get to? Once you're able to define that very well, then I think is the invitation to look for the tooling and the opportunities and the technology and the innovation to help chip away at some of the pieces that are instilled in that end outcome. So I'm less tied to forcing innovation or trying to find it as an ingredient to the recipe, and more understanding what is the outcome and what are the pieces, what are the ingredients necessary for me to get there. And that's kind of how I look at the technology or the pieces that help me as well as our clients execute.
So JoAnne, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your insights.
I love being here. Thanks, Dick.
Thanks for watching. You can subscribe to our show on YouTube or by following us on LinkedIn. And please consider giving us a rating or a review so it helps others to find our show. Visit StitchStudio.ai to learn more about our applied AI solution built for insurance. See you soon.